Welcome back to NOLA Motorsports Park as we are about to kick off our final race of the weekend, at least for the FR Americas Championship. My name's John Fippin, spokesman for both the FR Americas and the Ligier JSF4 champion, as we've got one more race to go to kick off the weekend. It's been an eventful weekend, and we've got two drivers who just finished their last race in the JSS4 championship, Kekai Hauanio and Brad Majman. Brad, I've heard your name pronounced Majman and Majman. Do you have a preference?
Not really.
How do you say your last name?
I say it Majman. My dad says Majman.
Okay, so you say Majman.
Yeah.
Majman it is. We'll do it. Kekai, I know I pronounced your name wrong until VIR last year when you corrected me, so thank you for that. But nonetheless, we've got a great race coming up. There's the 0-2 car of Jett Bowling, who scored his first points in this last race. Get my screen back on here. The 0-2 of Jett Bowling, racing for the Crosslink Kiwi out of Dallas, Texas. There's the 11 of Cole Kleck. Cole has done very well. He leads the points coming into this round. In fact, he's tied for the points lead coming into this final round. He and Patrick Woods-Toth are tied for the points lead after the second race went official just a few minutes ago. So Cole's going to be a factor to be reckoned with. Hayden Bowlsbey, perhaps the surprise of the season, as he has come out very, very strong. The local team based here in Folsom, Louisiana, is now third in the points coming into this third round. So Hayden Bowlsbey had his first podium of the year in round number 2, finished 6th in round 1, and that puts him right in the thick of the points battle. Hayden is our most experienced driver. He's raced with us for 3 years in F4 between 2019 and 2021 before stepping up to the Formula Regional Americas Championship, where he's raced for 2 seasons, this being his third. He finished 6th in the championship a year ago, and he now has 2 podiums in Formula Regional Americas competition. These beautiful drone shots give you a sight of the Big Easy in the background and this beautiful motorsports facility. We had flooding rains earlier in the week, but it has been just Chamber of Commerce weather ever since. There's Kevin Jansen, one of 2 drivers who's vying for the Masters Cup in the number 24 car. Kevin out of Deerfield Beach, Florida. He's a Canadian by birth, but living in Florida now. This is his 4th year of competition in the Formula Regional Americas Championship. Still looking for that first podium. So good luck to him to maybe knock that. Rico Slauman is there in the number 25 car. Rico out of Los Angeles, California for Crosslink Kiwi. He raced with us last in the F4 Championship back in 2018, so he's taken a few years off. Here's the guy that's had the hard luck story pretty much all weekend long. That's Landan Matriano. Lim, he shared the commentary booth with me for the last race in the number 73. He's a local driver from Shreveport, Louisiana for Crosslink Kiwi. Titus Sherlock, another driver from the Crosslink Kiwi stable, in the number 31 out of Prosper, Texas. Finished as the vice champion in the F4 championship a year ago. So big things expected from Titus. He's currently 7th in the points after 2 rounds of racing here this year in this brand spanking new season for the Formula Regional Americas Championship. Gentlemen, it's been an eventful weekend for both of you. We've had a lot of red flags. We have had a lot of issues with too many laps behind the safety car. What have you learned? What do you think? What do you think we're going to look forward to going up to Road America next weekend, or the next race weekend? Brad, I'll start with you.
I think obviously Road America has a lot of straights, but also can have the odd pinch point,
Yep.
especially after you have the carousel and that. The right kink, then it waves down a little bit. So I think that could maybe cause some issues. But I think the best thing will be that there's big braking zones, long straights. So hopefully there shouldn't be too many bombs. If you come off the corner with a good run, even if you have the same run as the person in front of you, the toe should help you at least get next to the person in front, rather than having to go move under brakes to try and make the move done.
Kekai, how about you?
Yeah, Road Americas has a long straightaway, so you always have to make sure you have a draft in qualifying, or you're going to be quite off the time. But hoping to make up some points because we got some penalties, so we got to make up some points. Me and Brad.
Not a problem. It's a long season. We've got 7 rounds of racing to go, so all told, so you got plenty of time to make up ground. So good deal. Good future ahead for both of you, and we have one more announcement to make. Brad, it's your birthday, I understand, today. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
You're the ripe old age of 15, so that's great. That's fantastic. So Brad Majman, one of the new drivers, one of 2 Australians in the field. Do you know Daniel well? Have you raced against him?
Yeah, I've been racing against Daniel for ages, probably since I was about 10.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I know him quite well.
So you guys know well, yeah.
Yeah.
10, let's see, that's when you had your Supernats victory, right? When you were 10?
Yeah, in 2019.
Yeah, awesome. That's great to see. We're getting close to sending the cars out for their formation lap. The pole sitter will be Ryan Shehan, as Ryan set the fastest lap in race number 2. And that's how the grids are formed. The fast lap turned in the previous race determines the grid for the succeeding race. So this being race number 3, fast laps in race 2 set the grid. Jett Bowling will start alongside, but we'll run the full starting grid once the safety car pulls out and we get this race underway. It's a timed race, of course, 30 minutes in duration. And I know that Scott Goodyear had a drivers meeting with these drivers after the second race, which was eventful. Let's just put it that way. And I'm sure he gave them a stern talking to. So we're hoping for better things coming out of this race. As you can see, our pole sitter Ryan Shehan getting the 1-minute board from the pit marshals. And this overhead shot of this beautiful facility beginning to thin out a little bit in the paddock. The Trans Am folks just completed their race, the Trans Am 2 race. Congratulations to Rafa Matos for the win on that one. And some of the vintage competitors still have some racing to go. We've got 2 more vintage races after this one. Scott Conway will be on the call here for those of you here at the track for the balance of that. But now everybody's rolling out of the false grid. Let's run the starting grid for you, and we'll introduce the 15 drivers that will compete in this final race of the weekend for Formula Regional Americas. Starting alone in row number 8 is car 14. That's Alex Benovitz out of Naples, Florida for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. In row 7 on the outside, car 24, his teammate Kevin Jansen out of Deerfield Beach, Florida. Remember, he's one of the Masters competitors. Next to him is the 25 of Rico Slauman out of Los Angeles, California, also for Crosslink Kiwi, as is Landan Matriano Lim out of Shreveport. We talked briefly about Landan, as he's had kind of a star-crossed weekend. Looking for good things from him, starting from the 12th position. In 11th is the 31 of Titus Sherlock, yet another Crosslink Kiwi driver from Prosper, Texas. Outside of row 5 is car 07, Anthony Autiello out of Cranston, Rhode Island. He's the other Masters competitor for Momentum Motorsports. Next to him, the 77 of James Lawley out of Halifax, Canada, for Kart Barn Racing, his sponsor. He races for the Atlantic Racing Team. In row 4 is car 17, Justin Garat from Miami, Florida. He races for the Speed Factory, and alongside him, another of my co-commentators earlier in the weekend, the number 6 of Nicole Havrda from British Columbia, Canada. She races for Crosslink Kiwi. The reigning F4 U.S. champion and the co-leader of this championship coming into this race starts 6th. That's the 27 of Patrick Woods-Toth out of St-Lazare, Quebec. He races for Crosslink Kiwi. He won the scholarship after winning the F4 championship a year ago to have a full season of racing here in Formula Regional. As we move forward into the outside of row number 3, the 55 of Nico Ambiado, making his home in Davenport, Florida when he's here in this country, but he hails from Santiago, Chile, a 16-year-old racing for the Velox USA team. In row 2 on the outside, Hayden Bowlsbey, the scion of the Bowlsbey Motorsports Enterprises. He races for his dad's team in the number 22. He shared the microphone with me as well. He notched his 2nd podium of his career in the Formula Regional Americas Championship in race number 2. The team is the IGY6 Motorsports team. We'll discuss that in a little bit. Moving inside of row 2, or outside of row 2, is the 11 of Cole Kleck. Cole has been a winner already this weekend, as he took the win in the first round out of San Antonio, Texas, for the single-car DD Autosport team. And now for the front row, their teammates, both from the Crosslink Kiwi stable, the 02 of Jett Bowling. Jett got his first points in round number 2, I believe, and he's up in 8th place in the points coming into this race out of Dallas, Texas. And your pole sitter, who is the vice champion of the FR Championship a year ago, carried that championship battle right into the last race of the year, but eventually had to succumb to his teammate at the time, Patrick Woods-Toth. Ryan is out of Horseshoe Bay, which is near Austin, Texas, in the 66 car. And like we say, Ryan Shehan not having the start this weekend that we expected from him, but he's still 4th in the points and only 1 point behind Hayden Bowlsbey for 3rd. But we've got a tie, a dead heat at the top of the points championship coming into this 3rd race of the weekend and of the season as we're making ready to get this one started. You can see the cars lining up in their grid positions here on the front straightaway. As it looks like we have a missing man in the formation there.
I'm pretty sure that's Alex Benovitz. He had gearbox issues in the last race.
Got it. That would explain it. So Alex Benovitz not able to be in the field, it looks like. The field is lined up. We're waiting for the light sequence to begin. And there come the lights. The engine's on the rev limiters. We wait, and they're away. Good jump from Ryan Shehan, but the 0-2 of Jett Bowling gives a good run. It's 3 wide. Inside them is Hayden Bowlsbey, who slots up ahead. Then the 11 of Cole Kleck. Right behind them is the 6 of Nicole Havrda. As everybody tries to funnel down through turn number 1, the battle at the front between Ryan Shehan and Hayden Bowlsbey. Bowlsbey going for the lead here with Cole Kleck in the orange car. Going to try to go around the outside. A little bit of a lockup from Cole as he was a bit late on the brakes, but he's going to try to take them both, is Cole Kleck. He's got a nose ahead as they head toward turn number 4. Through the turn they go, and it's still going to be Ryan Shehan with the advantage. Cole Kleck trying to collect that 2nd spot. Hayden Bowlsbey trying to decide who to follow, and he decides he's going to go behind Cole Kleck because he's had some success. But Ryan is going to hold him off as they go just a little bit wide into the Gators' teeth there at turn 5 through this very tricky turn 6, and that's exactly what you try to avoid. Cole went a little bit too wide, dropped 2 wheels off, and that cost him some momentum. That gives Ryan Shehan a little bit of breathing room as they open up the throttle and come down in through the Bennett Bridge Hall S's for the first time. That turn 6 has been a bugbear for a lot of drivers this weekend. Kekai, has it caught you out yet?
Yesterday in the race, I think I dropped the tire a couple times once the tires started to fall off. But it's a very deceiving corner.
Yeah.
And it seems we have one off.
Indeed we do. We've got a spinner here just in front of our commentary position. We'll sort that out as the safety car already exiting pit lane. So not even half a lap before our first safety car here. As Ryan Shehan will bring the field across the line. Hayden Bowlsbey in 2nd, Jett Bowling in 3rd, Patrick Woods-Toth 4th, Cole Kleck shuffled back to 5th after dropping those wheels off at turn 6. Titus Sherlock in the 6th spot, Nicole Havrda in 7th, James Lawley in 8th, Justin Garat and Landan Matriano limb. Anthony Autiello is missing in action, and I think he was the spinner, but it looks like he may have been able to continue under his own power.
He's got front wing damage, so he's going to be in the pits.
Yep.
Most likely will go a lap down.
There you go. Nico Ambiado and Alex Benovitz did not take the start of the race. We mentioned Benovitz with a gearbox problem, issues for Ambiado as well. While we've got our first full course yellow, let's take a brief pause to thank some of the sponsors that make the racing possible for us here on SpeedTour TV.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Haggerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Haggerty, let's drive together.
The Sonoma Speed Tour returns to Sonoma Raceway April 19th through the 21st, featuring the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli Western Championship, the Sports Car Vintage Racing Association, Historic Trans Am, the Toyo Tire 2.5 Challenge, PSSA, International GT, and Saturday you can take part in the Haggerty Cars and Caffeine Car Show. You do not want to miss the Sonoma Speed Tour April 19th through the 21st. For tickets, simply go to speedtour.net.
We're back with our first full course caution of the weekend, certainly not of the weekend, but of this race for sure, as Anthony Autiello had a problem and had to retire into the pits, we believe, with some front wing damage. We'll see if they've been able to get that car repaired, and he might be able to get back out if they've got a spare nose handy, but we'll check that out. The lights are out on the safety car, which indicates we're going to get the restart right away here, so it's a brief full course yellow. Again, it is a timed race. We're at 25.5 minutes, thereabouts, remaining. James Rogerson, our safety car driver, begins to accelerate away from the field there at turn 13. He'll dive into the pit lane and turn the field over to Ryan Shehan, as he'll bring them around at safety car speed until they reach the apex of turn 16. That's the acceleration point. And Ryan can choose to accelerate any time once he reaches that, just about now. And we'll see when he elects to pull the trigger. Everybody has to stay single file. No passing is permitted until they cross, start, finish. Shehan is on the throttle as he heads for the line, doing a little weaving, trying to break the draft. Everybody stay in single file. Let's see who pops out first. There goes Cole Kleck all the way down to the inside of Hayden Bowlsbey.
He got 2 there.
Yeah, he did indeed. The 0-2 of Jett bowling. Cole Kleck has been a very aggressive driver. He started, I think, 6th in the first race, and he was in the lead by the time we got to the end of
it. Woods-Toth just made a huge move now for 3rd place.
Yep. Patrick Woods-Toth outside of Cole Kleck. Patrick, a very measured driver. At least he has been in our experience. I don't know if you've had a chance to chat much with Patrick, but he's a driver that, you know, is patient, waits until the opportunity presents itself, and he had 4 wins and 10 podiums last season on the way to the championship. So Cole Kleck slotting in just behind him as they work their way down into the Bennett Bridge Hall S's. And that's the best battle. Woods-Toth and Kleck close together for that 3rd place, with Shehan and Bowlsbey out in front. Kleck in that brilliant orange livery of the DD team. It's their first race weekend with us, DD Autosport. Cole did double duty last season. He raced for 2 different teams, started the season in the F4 Championship, and then switched teams and went to the FR Championship about mid-season. And despite that partial season, he still managed to finish 10th in the points at the end of the year. Ryan Shehan sets fast lap of the race. Hayden Bowlsbey 2nd, Patrick Woods-Toth 3rd, Kleck in 4th, Jett bowling just behind him. Is way down to the inside is the 77 of James Lawley, looking for an advantage. The 17 of Justin Garat doing battle with them, and there they are, side by side. Lawley tries to get the inside line at turn 2. And it looks like he's made it stick as they run down to turn 3, but here comes Lawley back on him as they hit the braking zone for turn 3. This sequence of turns 3 and 4, is a great opportunity. If you can stick it on the outside, then you've got the inside line for the next turn. Landan Matriano Lim up there in the thick of it. He's come up from a little further back. He was 12th at the start. He's up to 10th right now. Looking for a good, clean weekend as he's had a troubled first 2 races here. There's the 77 of James Lawley out of Halifax, Nova Scotia for the Atlantic Racing Team. And the 25 of Rico Slauman out of Los Angeles for Crosslink Kiwi. Good battle at the front. Shehan and Bowlsbey pulling away just a little bit. There's Bowlsbey now coming under pressure from Patrick Woods-Toth. As Hayden Bowlsbey on the strength of a podium in race number 2, looking to back it up with maybe another podium here. He's already doubled his podium total from all last season. But Ryan Shehan getting away at the front. Last time across the line, he was a full second ahead. He stretched that out to almost 2 seconds. So he has definitely got the pace. The question is he going to be able to keep the tires under him? This being the last race of the weekend, these new compound Hankook tires are wearing a little more rapidly than their predecessors. Kekai, you raced on the tire last year. Have you noticed a big difference in how the tires, last?
Not necessarily, no. I haven't really felt that they last longer.
Yeah.
But that Shehan's gap will continue to grow as Patrick tries to battle with Bowlsbey.
Yeah, as long as those two continue to battle each other, that slows them down. Ryan, looking in his mirrors, has got a big grin under that crash helmet, of course, as the 27 car of Patrick Woods-Toth in the third spot. Wants to move up at least one more if he can, and then set his sail for his teammate, Hayden Bowlsbey, with the IGY 6 team. This is their home race. This racetrack has not been particularly good to Hayden, as he's always hoped to do well here because it is just down the road from their shop. But unfortunately, it has
And there goes
not done
Woods-Toth
well
for the move.
Yep, he's down to the inside at turn 13. That's a prime passing opportunity.
It knocks Bowlsbey off the track, makes some contact.
Yep. The two of them got together. But he made the pass stick, for the moment anyway. Off of the Mission Foods turn 16 and onto the front straightaway they come. So new second place runner, Patrick Woods-Toth. Hayden Bowlsbey in third. There's Cole Kleck lurking just behind him. We're going to get a chance to have a look at that pass as they work their way out of turn number 4, down into turn 5. Big lockup there for Woods-Toth. That was into 13, I'm sorry. Down into Woods-Toth. Big lockup for him. Hit the curb a little bit, and that bounced him over into and a trouble for Hayden Bowlsbey. And that's where the contact was made. I have a feeling that wheel-to-wheel contact there, when the overtake happened, broke the rear suspension. So disappointment for local racer Hayden Bowlsbey. He was kind of a passenger in that one. The stewards will sort that out if there is a penalty to be assessed. As Patrick stuffed it down inside, hit the curb, and sort of bounced into Bowlsbey. And that contact obviously damaged the rear suspension. Tough break for the driver from Folsom. We're going to get a chance to see Hayden's car once again, as we've got Cole Kleck, and Hayden should be just in front of him.
It seems like he made contact with someone else. Oh, he went off by
Yeah,
himself.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he went wide. Yeah, exactly right. He went wide coming out of turn 4, or turn 2, I'm sorry. That's turn 3, and that's what caused the damage, I'm afraid. So perhaps we should not assign blame to Patrick Woods-Toth just yet.
On Woods-Toth, he's just set the fastest lap. The 0.6 quicker than Shehan that last lap. So maybe Shehan was too hard on his tires.
Exactly. It's 135.6 for Woods-Toth. As I mentioned, historically a very patient driver as he waits for the race to come to him. Cole Kleck now up into the podium positions for the third time this weekend, potentially. He's got a win and a second place finish, as does Woods-Toth. That's why they're tied in the points right now. So we'll see how that's going to shake out. Jett Bowling definitely having his best race of the weekend. He did not score in the first race, finished 5th in race number 2. Titus Sherlock not that far behind, about a second behind Jett. As we get a good look at Cole Kleck, the 17-year-old from San Antonio. But Shehan has built up a very comfortable cushion. It was 2 seconds at the line, or Shehan. It was 2 seconds at the line, but Woods-Toth, as Brad mentioned, set the fast lap of the race. And we'll see if he's able to close that gap down next time they come across the line. There's Ryan Shehan. I'm sure he's been disappointed. He didn't have the results that he had hoped for. A 5th and a 4th so far this weekend. Being the vice champion a year ago, he was sort of the odds-on favorite to be near the front for this weekend, and so far it's not been the case. This is the first time he's led all this weekend, but he has got a pretty comfortable lead right now. But
Shehan responded to Woods-Toth with they both set the same lap time of the 36.0.
Yeah, just about the same lap times, within a couple hundredths of a second. There's Jett Bowling in the silver livery number 02. Jett Bowling chasing Cole Kleck to see what he can perhaps do about a podium spot. Jett out of Dallas, his best finish a year ago was a 10th at VIR. He's already bettered that with his 5th place finish in round 2. He, of course, raced in the F4 championship a year ago, so this is a good beginning to his career in the Formula Regional Americas Championship. He's staying right with Cole Kleck. As we look at lap times on the last lap, he was marginally quicker. Kleck was a 37.2, Bowling a 37.1. And we watch that battle as they work their way through the Bennett Bridge Hall S's, coming down into turn 13, where Woods-Toth and Hayden Bowlsbey had their contretemps, into turn 14. And it's a 3-way battle, not that far back as Titus Sherlock, as he's closing down on these two as well. Titus with a 4th place finish in the first race of the weekend. Woods-Toth is definitely eating into Ryan Sheehan's lead. It was literally 2 seconds, 2 laps ago. It's down to a 1.5 seconds, so he's begun to trim it down. And there's the Kleck and Bowling battle as well, with the 31 of Sherlock lurking there, as they are doing battle for the final step on the podium. Cole Kleck with it right at the moment. But lots of racing left to go as we're just past half distance. 15 minutes still remaining. So far, with the spin of Anthony Autiello, we've had a pretty clean race. So fingers crossed that we can keep it that way. We'd like to see green all the way to the end.
Funny you say that. There has just been a spin at turn 2.
They call it the commentator's curse. Anytime you mention something, bad stuff happens. So we'll see how that happens. But hopefully whoever's involved in that spin is able to continue on their own.
Seems like it cleared up.
Yep, that's good. Meanwhile, we turn our attention back to this battle between Kleck and Bowling for the final podium step. If anything, it looks like Cole has kind of settled into his pace and has stretched it out just a little bit, with Titus Sherlock not that far behind. Big gap behind Titus, though, almost 3.5 seconds back to the British Columbian Nicole Havrda. She's the only female in this class. But back to the front we go. Here's Ryan Shehan and Patrick Woods-Toth as they cross the line. Once again, almost identical lap times as they stay right at 1.5 seconds apart. Kleck, Bowling, and Sherlock also very similar lap times. Kleck was the quickest of the 3. Jett Bowling losing just a little bit of ground. It's about 0.7 seconds at the line. Patrick Woods-Toth, the reigning F4 U.S. champion, after a competitive but not dominant season a year ago. As I said, he only won 4 races out of 18, but he was on the podium in 10 others. So 14 podium appearances out of 18 races is a formula for pretty good success in any form of racing. Let's see if he's able to continue to eat away at that lead. Like I say, the last time by, their lap times, meaning his and Ryan Sheehan's, were virtually identical. The 0-2 of Jett Bowling continues to try to mount his challenge as we watch that battle. That's Cole Kleck in the orange car at the lead of this threesome. As you can see, they're just about equally spaced, with Bowling and Sherlock just behind. Titus Sherlock was the vice champion of the F4 U.S. Championship a year ago. Ryan Shehan, the vice champion of Formula Regional a year ago. Our 2 leaders across the line. Woods-Toth continues to eat away at the lead. It's down to 1.2 seconds now, and the 2 of them have pretty much dropped the battle we've been following, as Kleck, the 0-2 of Bowling, and the 11 of Titus Sherlock, or 31, excuse me, of Titus Sherlock, holding station. You can see how bumpy the track is there at the braking zone for turn 1. Same story here with turn 2. You can really get the suspension working. I'll ask both of you gentlemen, is there a turn or a section of this track that you find especially challenging?
Well, being my first race in cars, there's
They're all challenging.
Yeah, they're all challenging. There's a lot to learn in all of them. The most important is definitely the last sector, and like especially when you look at it on the data, it's very hard to say maybe look at turn 14 without looking what's happened at 13 and what's happened at 15 and 16.
Obviously.
So that's the most important. I'd say the hardest is the S's, just because it requires a lot of confidence. There's a big bump in the second right-hander, and that can really throw the car. That can really throw the car off wide. And in these heavier, quicker cars with more downforce, that'll just amplify that effect.
In the early part of the S's in the F4 car, I understand it's pretty much feathering the throttle, but when you get into the latter part of the S's where they sort of narrow down a little bit, you can go flat through much of that area. Has that been your experience?
Yeah. So there's the little right hand kink, and then the first left hand. Yeah, that is a lift, maybe a brake if you need it. But then from there it should be flat if you make sure the lines are on your car's handling well.
Yeah. Kekai, has that been your experience as well?
Yeah, one big thing I noticed is you really have to carry speed at this track.
Yeah.
Through the tight corners. If you're not carrying speed, you're going to be down on the time. And really using every bit of the track that you can all the way up to the white line.
Good battle here between Nicole Havrda in the 6 and Justin Garat in the 17. That's Nicole's car. They are battling for 6th and 7th.
And it looks like, from the looks of it out of the booth, Bowling is caught up to Kleck within a car length now.
Yeah, it's about 0.3 of a second at the line. So Cole Kleck may find himself without tires here as we get into the last 10 minutes of this race. Tire management has always been a factor, and with this new slightly softer compound that Hankook is running this year, it's even more critical in the final race of the weekend. Again, for those of you who haven't been with us before, each driver team is allocated 2 sets of tires for the entire weekend. 2 sets of, 2 fronts, two sets of fronts, 2 sets of rears. And they start with that allocation at qualifying. Yeah, there is Bowling all over Cole Kleck as they come through turn 1.
Really applying the pressure there.
Yep, no kidding. He gets a little squirrely, though, as they work their way through turn 13 into 14. And into, as Brad so succinctly put it, the most important turn on the racetrack. That's true on any racetrack. The turn that leads onto the longest straightaway is the one you want to absolutely nail, because every millimeter you lose coming onto the straightaway gets magnified by the time you get to the end of it. But you can see the big bumps there just at the turn in of turn number 1, which really try to unsettle these cars.
Yeah, it's one thing I noticed this year compared to last year. The track has gotten a lot bumpier.
Yep, I could believe it. With all the torrential rains and the flooding that they have to deal with down in this part of the country, I'm surprised that they don't have more problems. And
the corner that's also very bumpy that gets underlooked by people maybe watching because the lower speeds is turn 13 right on the apex. There's a huge bump, and the curb's quite big, so it can be hard to ride.
Yep.
So the car can be very hard to handle there, and half the time you just need to ride the bump.
Yep.
As bad as it is.
I can believe it. So here we go once again with this battle for third. Cole Kleck, I think, sensing the pressure from behind, has maybe upped his pace just a little bit, as Jett Bowling at the line was about 0.4 of a second behind. There is that bump at turn 13 that Brad was just talking about. Leaders approaching the line one more time. There's the battle between Nicole Havrda and Justin Garat once again. Nicole doing a good job of holding her own here. She's had 2 points finishes. She's had a 7th and a 6th so far this weekend. And right now, they're battling for 6th and 7th once again, so that's right in the area where she's finished. Titus Sherlock seems to be dropping back from this battle just a little bit as we're getting into the closing 7 minutes now of this race.
And the biggest thing to notice as well is Shehan and Woods-Toth are really in a league of their own. If you look at the last lap, Shehan did a 36.2 and Woods-Toth did a 36.3. The next quickest after that's 37.1, so they're really stretching the gap, and the Crosslink Kiwi team has set their cars up beautifully.
Yeah, Justin Garat has the third fastest lap. Hayden Bowlsbey, prior to his retirement, was fourth quickest in the early stages of this one. But they've opened up an 11-second lead over this battle that we've been watching. So there's really not much in it for the third place battle. These two right close together once again. There seems to be kind of an ebb and flow of this gap as Kleck seems to be able to draw away just a little bit, but then Bowling hits his marks just perfectly and is able to close right back on his gearbox.
That could also be based on setup as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing with it is Kleck and Bowling need to be careful because Sherlock's right there, sorry. So, you know, make one wrong move, make one move that's too defensive or run a little bit wide, and then it becomes a three-car battle.
Yep, exactly right. And it looks like Cole lost maybe a little bit of ground. It's tough to tell from that camera shot, the little foreshortening. But here we come down into turn number 1, approaching 5 minutes to remain.
And Sherlock was the quickest out of that group. Kleck did a 38.0, Bowling a 37.9, and Sherlock a 37.5.
We understand a problem for Nicole Havrda. We've been alerted that she might have had an issue of some kind. We'll get a shot of that as we've got Jett Bowling doing his best to keep the pressure on Cole Kleck, hoping for a mistake or perhaps biding his time until we get a little closer to the end. But Titus Sherlock, after he fell back a little bit, you're right, Brad, he has come right back against this battle. Just when it looked like Kleck and Bowling were going to be able to pull away, Sherlock has made up the ground he lost. These Formula Regional Americas cars, of course, significantly more horsepower than the F4 cars that my two guest commentators drive. Almost double, just north of 300 horsepower. They also make significantly more downforce. The underbody tunnels are much more aggressive. There's a big diffuser at the back of the car which accelerates that underbody air, which generates that negative pressure, which pushes the car down to the ground. So it's not only the horsepower, but it's also the improved aerodynamics, which make this car a bit more of a handful. They're a little more stuck to the ground. And because of that, as is true with any downforce car, the more downforce the car generates, the more it disturbs the air for the cars following. So it's really a tall order, as Jett Bowling is finding here. It's a tall order to run close behind this car. It's much harder to do it with this car than it is with the F4 car, because the F4 car is not quite as heavily aerodynamic. But Jett's doing a good job of sticking right with, there he goes, dives to the inside at turn 3. That's been a while coming. Let's see if Kleck can do the over-under and get the advantage back. He's got a nose ahead, but Jett should have the advantage here into turn 4. And he takes advantage, but the over-under goes again. This time, Kleck will have the advantage coming into turn number 5. At the beginning of this very high-speed 3-turn sequence.
And these two need to be careful with what they do here because Sherlock's now going to be right on them. So
oh,
there
little
you go.
contact.
So
There was
Bowling's
a little,
off,
yep, a little.
and now Sherlock's right on them and can possibly make the move for Kleck.
And it looks like the safety car is rolling out of the pit lane here.
Yeah, we had heard that Nicole Havrda might have had a problem, and she has fallen down the order. She has not come by to complete race lap 15, so she is stranded somewhere out on track. I don't know the timing of the yellow flag to know if Titus will have to give that position back. If he made the pass after the yellow came out, he'll have to give that position back as they work their way. We're going to see that overtake as the drivers work their way through. There we go. You can see as they're coming into turn number 6, Titus goes just a little bit wide, or Kleck goes just a little bit wide and touches Bowling, and that opens the door for Titus, and he took advantage of it.
And if you look in the background of that shot, that there is a yellow flag waving at the stand.
Yeah, that may well be a position that he'll need to give back. In fact, you could see the stalled car of Nicole Havrda just as they were passing that area. It looks like, is that Nicole's car? No, that's Anthony Autiello, I believe. That's the Momentum car, yeah.
He's currently a lap down.
Yep. Anthony with that spin early and damage to the front wing. He had to come into, you can see Nicole's car right here as she pulled to a stop at the exit of turn 4, it looks like.
6.
Or
Going
6,
to 7.
going into 7, yeah.
And hopefully they can move that car into into that little turn that our championship isn't using, so that we can have 1 or 2 laps of racing at the end.
Yeah, we've got a minute left, so I don't think that's going to happen. I have a feeling this one may end under caution. Our race director has the option to extend the race if he feels there are extraordinary circumstances, but with Nicole's car stalling, it looks like this may be the way they're going to do it. We're hearing that the checker is going to come out. In fact, the starter has the checker in his hand, so this is how they're going to finish. I think the only question is with that pass that Titus Sherlock made, he's being shown now in 10th. So it may be that a time penalty has been assessed by timing and scoring because of that overtake under yellow. So unofficially, at least, we have Ryan Shehan as your winner, Patrick Woods-Toth in second, Cole Kleck in third, Jett Bowling, Justin Garat, Landan Matriano Lim finally getting a points finish, Rico Schleiman, Kevin Jansen, James Lawley, Titus Sherlock, and Nicole Havrda, your top 11. Gentlemen, I have to make my way down to the podium to interview the top 3 finishers. I'll turn it over to Ben Sissel to wrap up the coverage. Thank you both for being here with us. Great job, and a happy birthday, Brad.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
We'll see you both at Road America.
Well, welcome back here to the FR Americas race. As you can see, checkered flag is being displayed here at the moment, which does mean that these drivers are going to be finishing the race under yellow flag. A fantastic run from Shehan and Woods-Toth. A great weekend for Woods-Toth, taking victory yesterday and able to climb onto the top step of the podium here today, or to get into second here today, and Cole Kleck in third place as well. A great race.
I feel like we're going to have a big championship battle here in FR with a lot of the same drivers that we had last season in F4, and that's how this ladder system should work. Unfortunately, a great race did have to finish under yellow, but that's the time constraints that we are under. But this NOLA SpeedTour has been a great start to the season for FR and the Ligier JSF4. I can't wait till the new F4 cars join us at Road America in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, they're going to be headed out there next month, so we're very excited to be able to see them be there, and we're very excited about the whole season coming forward here at this point. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and NOLA has put up plenty of surprises here on the weekend, as we heard from many, many different drivers. Sort of a deceptively difficult track to be able to navigate. It threw up some yellow flags, it threw up a couple of hiccups, but on the whole, when we were green, it was absolutely fantastic. As we take a look here at that Formula Regionals Americas Championship, Ryan Shehan able to take victory over Patrick Woods-Toth, Cole Kleck, Jett Bowling, and Justin Grant, your top 5. Landan Matriano Lim, Rico Schleiman, followed by Kevin Jansen, James Lawley, and Titus Sherlock, rounding out your top 10. Sherlock 2 laps down. Everybody else within a relatively close distance of each other, as you would imagine.
Kevin Jansen, one of our masters, finishing in the points. So congratulations, Kevin Jansen. It's always great to see him up in the top 10, into the points in Formula Regional America, and one of our masters, one of our 2 masters here this weekend, so that was really cool to see.
Yeah, very, very cool to see for him, and that's one of the things here. It's not just necessarily that stepping stone ladder for young drivers. It can also be for our masters drivers, our older drivers that want to give their hand at open wheels.
Well, this is such a competitive series. So if you want to race an open wheel car, why not this one? Because you're basically competing against drivers who we're going to see in the IndyCar field here in a little bit. But I'm hearing that we're going to hear some highlights here pretty soon, which I'm excited to see the highlights for this race. And I want to give it up for all the producers and directors at Greenlight for putting together these highlights for us so quickly.
Yeah, it's a really pretty incredible job here at this point. But we are ready to jump on over into those highlights here at this point. Ready to roll you back through the race. As there you see, it was a good standing start, 3-4 wide as they tried to finagle themselves out. A big run through the gravel there for the number 11 machine. That was Kleck, barely able to hold on to it. Kleck also trying to make some moves down into the inside, coming off of the next lap. Big lockups down into the corner, almost leading to contact there with the number 22, and then a big off again for that number 22. It was just a rough day for Hayden Bowlsbey. But up at the front of the field there, you saw the number 6, some more close action. It seemed like Kleck and Patrick Woods-Toth were absolutely battling this out the entire way through. Jett Bowling getting involved in it as well. And Ryan Shehan, though, able to cruise to victory up at the front of the field.
Well, you can see New Orleans there in the background. There's the Superdome and the Smoothie King Center, the NOLA SpeedTour. Just such a really fun event here.
All right, and if you want to be able to come back and check out the highlights from the NOLA Motorsports Park action, remember, tune in on MAV TV this Thursday, April 18th at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series and Trans Am presented by Pirelli. Again, that'll be 8 and 9 o'clock this Thursday, April 18th. So you're not going to want to miss that, folks. Make sure you jump on over and check that out. You'll be able to see a quick recap of all of the action that took place this weekend. And it was a lot of spectacular action, believe me, particularly in that TA2 series, the Cube 3 TA2 series. Very, very exciting to see up and down through the field. As we keep going here at this point, waiting down for the winner's interview with the one and only John Fippin as they get that together. Just got to wait for the time for the drivers to get out of the cars. There they are down on pit lane. Big hugs all around, as is always the case there. Ryan Shehan, very, very happy there. And got to say, that livery pretty fantastic as John gets ready to be able to take over for us here at this point. He'll be able to talk us through and see what the winner is feeling here at this point. Gloves come off of that machine here as they go. As we take a look, there goes the helmet, that big gulp of air coming in now that they are free and ready to roll. And John, you are down with Ryan Shehan.
We're here with Ryan Shehan. Ryan, you haven't been on the box yet this weekend, but you made it work this time. Well done.
Yeah, if I had to pick one step to be on, I'd pick this one. So, yeah, it was a tough race. Of course, I had to win the one that was green for most of it, but I'll take it.
You had some pressure from behind from your two teammates. How were you able to hold them off?
Yeah, just trying to stay consistent. I think I cooked the tires a little bit at the start, so I got a bit worried, but it seemed like the gap was pretty consistent. So we have a new tire compound, so I was just learning that. This is really the first full race we had with it. So, yeah, I was just staying consistent.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ryan Shehan, your winner, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, back to you in the booth.
Well, thank you so much, John. That is a very happy Ryan Shehan. As you said, a lot of unknowns for these drivers, but a lot of good racing nonetheless. Well, folks, on behalf of all of us here at the NOLA SpeedTour, it's been an absolute pleasure to bring you all of the racing action here this weekend. Make sure to tune in as the SpeedTour next heads out to Worldwide Technology Raceway in St. Louis. So tune in for that next month. But on behalf of myself, DJ Clark, Adam Andretti, as well as Ben Sissel and all of the production crew here for the series. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you the racing action. Thank you so much.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods.